You wake up, check your phone, see an ad. You commute past billboards. You open an app and the first thing you see is something you almost buy. By noon, you've been exposed to hundreds of financial triggers, and most of them were placed there deliberately. This isn't paranoia, it's infrastructure. Modern life wasn't accidentally expensive. It was built that way. There's a version of a normal life that most people are quietly chasing. A decent apartment, a reliable car, the right clothes for the right occasions, subscriptions that keep entertainment flowing, food delivery when the day gets long, a vacation once a year to prove it was all worth it. It sounds reasonable. It sounds earned. And that's exactly the problem. The word reasonable has become one of the most expensive words in the personal finance vocabulary, because what feels reasonable has been carefully calibrated, not by your own values, but by industries that profit every time you reach for your wallet. Let's audit this. Not aggressively, not with guilt, just honestly. Start with attention. Before you spend $1, you spend your focus, and your focus has been commoditized. Every platform you use without paying a subscription fee is monetizing your attention and selling it to brands. The content you consume, the reels you scroll, the videos that autoplay, they are not random entertainment. They are delivery systems for financial desire. They show you lives that look aspirational and products that feel necessary. The gap between where you are and where the content suggests you should be, that gap is monetized. This is where modern spending begins. Not at the checkout. Not even at the product page. It begins at the moment someone else defines what a good life looks like, and you absorb that definition without questioning it. Now move to convenience. Convenience is the second mechanism. The modern economy has made it almost frictionless to spend and almost effortful to save. One-click purchasing. Saved card details. Buy now, pay later. Apps designed with the fewest possible steps between desire and transaction. Compare that to investing, which often requires forms, waiting periods, verification, and decisions that feel abstract. Spending has been optimized. Saving has not. That asymmetry is not an accident. Think about subscriptions specifically. A single subscription feels trivial. $8, $12, $15 a month. But the subscription model was invented because companies discovered that people dramatically underestimate recurring charges. They cancel what they see. They forget what they don't. The business model depends on inertia. Your forgetfulness is a revenue line in someone's quarterly earnings report. Then there's the upgrade cycle. This one is structural. Products today are designed with obsolescence built in. Not always physical, but psychological. Your phone works, but the new one has a feature that makes yours feel dated. Your car runs fine, but its interface looks old compared to the one in the commercial. Your kitchen is functional, but the one on that renovation account makes yours feel like a renovation project. The upgrade isn't sold to you as greed. It's sold as self-improvement, practicality, keeping up. The emotional framing is always dignified. What makes this particularly effective is that none of it feels like manipulation in the moment. It feels like living. It feels like participating. The social layer reinforces it, because the people around you are inside the same system, making similar purchases, normalizing similar expenses. When everyone around you has a streaming bundle, a car payment, and a wardrobe that refreshes seasonally, abstaining doesn't feel like discipline. It feels like falling behind. That social pressure is the third mechanism, and it might be the most powerful. Human beings are wired to calibrate behavior against their peer group. We read social environments to understand what's acceptable, what's expected, what signals safety and belonging. Marketers have understood this for decades. That's why advertising so rarely sells a product's function. It sells belonging. It sells the identity of the person who owns it. The subtext of most advertising isn't, "This product is useful." It's, "People like you own this," and "People like you" expands over time. Lifestyle inflation doesn't usually arrive as one dramatic decision. It arrives as a series of small upgrades that each feel justified. A better apartment because you got a raise. A nicer car because the old one had high mileage. A gym membership. A meal kit service. A wardrobe update for a new job title. Each individual choice looks rational. The pattern, taken together, means that income increases get absorbed almost immediately, leaving the savings rate flat, the margin thin, and the financial progress invisible. Here is what a real audit of normal life reveals. A significant portion of monthly spending is not driven by need or even by genuine preference. It's driven by exposure, by defaults, by friction asymmetry, and by social calibration. The money isn't going where you consciously chose. It's going where the system pointed it. That awareness changes something. Not because awareness alone builds wealth. It doesn't. But because most financial advice skips this layer entirely. It tells you to budget, to cut the coffee, to invest the difference. What it rarely tells you is that you are operating inside an environment that is actively working against those goals, and that the environment needs to be changed, not just your willpower. This is what financially intentional people understand. They don't rely on discipline alone. They restructure their environment. They reduce exposure to financial triggers. They add friction to spending and remove friction from saving. They define what enough looks like for them, not in comparison to a feed or a peer group, but according to their own actual life. They get specific about which expenses genuinely improve their life and which ones were absorbed passively. The difference between someone who earns well and builds wealth and someone who earns well and stays financially fragile is rarely intelligence or income. It's usually awareness of this system and the willingness to opt out of it, quietly, consistently, without needing to announce it. You don't have to live like an ascetic. You don't have to reject convenience entirely or feel guilt over every purchase. But you do have to recognize what's happening when you reach for your wallet without quite knowing why. Because the most expensive thing in modern life isn't any single product. It's the unexamined assumption that the life being sold to you is the life you actually want. Spend less time trying to resist temptation and more time questioning where the temptation came from. The system is sophisticated. The solution doesn't have to be. It just has to be yours.